To Joe's Astrology. This is the birth chart for LeBron James, and I'm going to try to focus mostly on sports for this birth chart analysis. You see the ruler of his chart here, the rising is Gemini, the ruler is Mercury, and it's conjunct Uranus in the sixth house, and often you think of Mars as being a important planet in sports, which it is. But as if you watch my other videos on tennis, or a lot of tennis players, Mercury is very important. And here we see with LeBron James, arguably one of the best basketball players ever, he's no different. With the rising in Gemini, the ruler being conjunct Uranus, uh, and we see the with Uranus there and Mercury in the sixth house, which is a Virgo house, and we have it's in Sagittarius. So with that conjunction, Mercury and Uranus, he could be considered a genius, someone with an advanced mind, forward thinking, progressive. And we'll continue there with the Mercury and Uranus. We'll look at the aspects here. We see that there's an aspect between Mercury and Jupiter here in the seventh. That Mercury is making a trine to the moon that's in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And Mars is on the midheaven in Pisces. So even though it's in Pisces, it's not the best place for Mars. It's right near the midheaven, which makes it very strong. I just talked about Jeff Bezos in one of my shorts where his Mars is in the same place and he's a billionaire. You often see Mars emphasized in billionaires charts. And there he has Mars right there on the midheaven at the top of the chart. And it's making a trine, which I often talk about with Pluto. And I have that same exact trine that he has. I was heavily involved in sports when I was younger. And it's also making a reception to that Pluto because Mars rules Scorpio as well. We can see Mars is also making a sextile to the Sun, which is in Capricorn. And Capricorn, he has Jupiter in Capricorn and the Sun in Capricorn. So he is a Capricorn, basic astrology, Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Aries. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So you count them up, you got Neptune there, 1, 2, 3. Moon in Aries. There's 4 planets. Oh, Saturn in Scorpio. Scorpio is also ruled by Mars. 5 planets, not counting Pluto, and the South Node, all in signs that have to do with Mars. We could see his sun. His sun is on the 7th, and Jupiter's on the 7th, and Neptune is in the 7th. So planets in the 1st, 4th, the 7th, and the 10th are more emphasized, as I just spoke about Mars. Neptune, a planet of performance. He's got Neptune conjunct the Sun. Neptune in the 7th house cusp. He's definitely a performer. He has Pluto in the 5th. So at a soul level, he's coming into life as a creative, someone who is here to, who has experience expressing himself. Think of Pluto being the past, it being the soul. South Node is in Scorpio. It's conjunct Saturn. We often see this Saturn-Mars. He doesn't have a Saturn-Mars aspect, or at least not a close aspect. But he does have the South Node conjunct Saturn in Scorpio, the sign that rules Mars. His nodes are in the materialistic signs of Scorpio and Taurus, and this guy definitely has money. You can see his Venus is near the midheaven as well. It's also making a trine, almost exact trine to the ascendant. So Venus is pretty prominent in this chart as well. It's also making Venus is making a square to Saturn. He's known as being a family guy. I think he has a bunch of kids, been married for a long time, very consistent, very steady, not much drama in the life. You can see here on the right side of the chart that is a life that is reaping versus if it was on the left chart, a life that is sowing. So he's coming into life with a lot of expectations of destiny and things happening for him that have already been put into place. Let's see if there's any, check and see if there's any quintiles. There's a close quintile between Uranus and Venus, which would give more emphasis on that Uranus when it comes to Venus. So maybe a guy that can attract money, do things with money, money with the internet, maybe. Even though I don't know how much he's done with that. Possibly something I'm missing. Feel free to mention in the comments if you see it. And I'm going to leave it there for now. I really like that Pluto-Mars trine for athletes. That's really fun to see, especially because I have it and I see it so often. Gives one more thing I'll say, it gives the ambition, that you can see his life is a testament to that aspect. And the Jupiter and Sun in Capricorn, him being, that's interesting to see too, with the Mars in the 10th house, with him being the possible greatest of all time. He's considered the GOAT. You hear the GOAT and then you see Capricorn, the sign of the GOAT. Very interesting